Hello everyone, this is Zarilla from the blog Zarilla's Life, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful ring inspired by an English rose. It is a very simple ring made out of like a silk material and 3 pearls. And let's begin. Alright, the items you will need are some push pins. You'll need 3 beads. I'm using an old bead pearl necklace that broke. Scissors, needle and thread. You want the thread to be as close as the color to your beads that you're going to use. You need a pen, a marker. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to see what you mark. You need glue. Remember, I used the side because I didn't follow directions. You need an adjustable ring, a tea light, and you're going to need a small wick, so you'll want to cut it down to probably about there, because if you don't, you're going to burn your hand and that'll be bad. You also need something to light the candle. You need material. I'm using this pink material that came from an old shirt that I stained. You will also need a glass, and you'll need the bottom to measure out your the largest petal that you have. Alright, like I said, we're going to be using this shirt that I stained, and we're going to take the glass and we're going to, using the bottom, trace just a little bit on the outside of it. It does not have to be perfect, because you're not going to use the line to cut out the shape. You're going to cut inside the line for your petal. So using your scissors, cut just inside the line. And there's your first petal. Now that you have your first petal, you want to take and draw a shape with that. Just want to outline it kind of on the edges. And then you'll want to cut inside this shape. And this will be the next layer in your petal. And this one doesn't look very circular, so I'm just gonna... And that's your next layer of your petal. Cut out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers. And when you put them on top, kind of layer them out. You kind of see the first beginning of what your rose is going to look like. Just layers of your petals. Is take your tea light or your candle that you use, light it up, and you want a very, very small flame. Now that you have your candle lit, take your petal and the silky side down, fold it over, and then pinch it to that where the underside kind of looks like a flower. And you want to hold it in this shape as you let the heat from the candle burn the edges. Do not ever let the flame touch the your fabric, or it will burn it and then it'll catch on fire and it will hurt your finger. Also, you want a small flame, because if you have too large of a one, it will burn your hand. The heat will burn your hand and that just won't be any good. If you are younger than 18, make sure you have your parents' permission to do this. You just want to curl the edges. And like I said, if you do not hold it in the shape of the flower, the pinch, it will curve backwards. Since you have held it in that shape, it makes that bowl shape, and like the flower petals are going to face up. And as you can see, you can already see these crisp edges of the rose that will make it look real, very Victorian and vintage. Okay, continue on into the other 6 layers of your rose, and then we'll begin shaping your rose to make it look more like the actual rose. Okay, now we have all 7 layers of the petals that have been burred edges, and as you can see, they have this nice cup shape now to up. And what you're going to do is you're going to layer them and just kind of play around with them and to shape your rose. And once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now that you think that you have, after you've messed around with the petals and you've moved them around, you think this is what I want my rose to look like. You want to take your push pin, stick it in the middle, just to hold it in place. And there you have the shape of what you want your rose to look like. Okay, now using your needle and thread, you'll want in the center just to make 3 stitches just to get it down in place. Once you have that done, you can go ahead and take your push pin out. Okay, now you have your 3 pearls. And you kind of want to mess around and say, oh, do I want them there? Do I want them there? But once you got kind of the exact idea where you want them, take 1 pearl and stitch it on. Now this is going to be the hard part. This is why you stitched them already together, because stitching on a bead kind of sort of where you want it can be a little tiresome. But when stitching on a bead, do not go back in the same hole that you came in. Kind of go onto the side a little. Because your bead is going to lay down on its side. And you don't want to see the stitching. And then taking your next bead, it's kind of like I want it to come up there. So you sew on your next bead. Final bead I want in between the 2. All right, now that you have all it in, on the underside, just take and stitch in 2 times, maybe also cinching your rose up a little bit so it'll help with the rose effect. And then cut it off because you don't need to finish it exactly. Cut off a little bit, that way, because you're gonna glue this side down. Okay, now that you have your bead sewn on, your rose is in shape, now we need to attach it to the ring. Now using your glue, whatever craft glue you use, put some dab on there. Wait for it to get tacky. And then on the underside where you have your stitching, you're going to glue it down. Hold it for a few seconds. You're going to set your ring overnight upside down like this. That way there's no pressure on the ring so it won't move out of place. And once you have it set overnight, now you have this beautiful vintage Victorian English rose inspired ring. I wear this a lot. This is actually one of my favorite rings because I love the colors and the pearls, and I get tons of compliments on it. I will also be giving away one of these rings that I made on my blog. I will be announcing the winner November 1st. I do give away something that I do make every month. So if you become a public follower on my blog, which is zerrillaslife.blogspot.com, or if you wish to buy them, I also do sell them on my Etsy page. All right, that's what I have for this week. And remember, have fun, be creative, and make it your own. You don't like pink? You don't have to make a pink one. Make it purple.